Hello and good afternoon, friends, and welcome to a very special event. This is a chat with Coach Bruce Allen, wrestling coach for the Newcastle Red Hurricane, and it's been quite some time since our wrestling program has been up and running. So this is a welcome chat. Welcome to NCTV45.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate it. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing out there? I'm glad to be part of the Newcastle Hurricanes. It's been a interesting year. Last year, rough year. We all know that. That's an understatement. But being part of the wrestling program, helping it revive itself, it's been great.
It's been a long time since the Newcastle Red Hurricane wrestled, and there's a lot of positives in wrestling. Tell us some of the positives that the young men, women might learn from wrestling.
The biggest thing I think a person learns from wrestling is self-reliance. You rely on yourself in a match. Yes, it's a team-oriented sport, but you still have to do the work yourself. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big sport enthusiast. I like basketball, baseball, tennis, hockey, you name it, I'm gonna watch it. Maybe not golf, I'm not at that age yet. But here's the thing with some of those sports that I named. In basketball, we could lose a game by 2 points because maybe you were the shooting guard and refused to take the shot or whatever the case may be. Or in football, for example, hey, the right side of the line isn't blocking, so we can't get the protection to pass and run the ball. And that's all fine and well. But in wrestling, the dedication and discipline to do the sport, first of all, preps you really good for life. Second of all, you can't blame anybody else. You have to accept your wins and losses for yourself. So that's the biggest thing I think it teaches you, self-assurance.
Now, you know, with these classifications and everything, first of all, let's talk about where we are. Double A, triple A, quad A, 5A, 6A, they have all kind of A's involved.
Too many A's. We are a triple A program, and triple A is a tough level, so is double A. I come from coaching in a double A program, so it's a step up for me as well. The thing is, the talent at either level is tough. Pennsylvania is still, I believe, the #1 state for wrestling, and to bring it back alive to Newcastle, I'm looking forward to it. This will be my second season.
Now let's clear something up, because a lot of people think wrestling and they see people jumping off the ropes and flying from the rafters.
We are not Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Triple H's. You can't see me. We're none of that. This is the oldest sport known to man. It dates back to the Roman days. In the Roman days, just things have changed a lot since then. You know, it was olive oil and nudity, and wrestle to submission or death. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't do that anymore. What we do now is there's 3 styles of wrestling: folk style, freestyle, and Greco. Folk style is your traditional high school level of wrestling, and that's what we partake in. Freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling, those are more worldly wide. That's what you see in the Olympics and in the world trials and things of that nature, which we do have a lot of kids in our program who are interested in folk style or freestyle and Greco.
Okay. Once again, because the type we do is
folk style.
Folk style.
We are the only country in the world that practices folk style on the high school level.
Okay. Now, with that, how do I know if I go wrestling, I'm not going up against somebody that's 7 foot?
You're not Andre the Giant wrestling Rey Mysterio, in other words.
Yeah.
Understandable. There are weight classes. The lowest weight class on the varsity level is 106. The heaviest weight class is 285. So there's 16 roughly weight classes. Wherever you fit in after you get hydrated and certified, that's where you wrestle. And the thing is, you can't, if you wrestle 152 for example. It's not 152.1. It has to be 152 even.
Okay. So you're in a class with schools the same size as you.
Yes.
You're in a wrestling mode or a match with people the same size as you.
Yes.
Okay. You're going to do folk style. Now, tell us a little bit about how do you train for that? You know, like in football, you're going to practice, if you're a lineman, blocking or quarterback passing.
Right. I am a fundamentalist. The four principles I operate on are technique, control, consistency, and power. Those four techniques put together gives you balance. Just like you're doing this here, there's a technique to it. You just didn't go one day, hey, I'm going to do a podcast and make it happen. So we really hammer our technique. The consistency and the control. I tell the kids all of this. Yes, you might get the technique, but you have to get to the point where you could do it with your eyes closed 1,000,002 times. Once you do that, you also have to be able to control your emotions. Understand, because this is a physical sport.
Right.
You are physical with each other. You cannot let your emotions get the best of you. You have to learn to control what you can control and what you can't control. Just like in any other sports, sometimes a referee, I'm a Browns fan, so I'm not too fond of referees right now, but just like in any other sport, referees don't always make the favorable call. You have to be, as a wrestler, to control your emotions enough to continue your match, even if you don't get the call or the call was against you. And I think once you put those three things together, mentally and physically, you become a very powerful person.
Now, last year on NCTV45, if you recall, we did a lot with high school wrestling.
Yes.
Okay. Some of the signs, you know, I've called a lot of football games. I've called a lot of basketball games. Even baseball and hockey. Wrestling's a little bit different.
Okay.
Where, okay, when the official brings his hands out.
Okay.
Okay, there were certain times if you step over the line outside the red ring.
Okay.
Why don't you explain to us a few of the basic calls?
All right. The out of bounds rule. Yes, we wrestle on a square circle. There's a circle on the mat. There's two circles. There's the little starting circle, and then there's the big circle. The big circle cylinder runs completely to the ceiling. So if I'm wrestling you and you're completely out of bounds and I got a foot still in bounds and I just got a takedown, then I get to takedown points. The rules are real simple. 2 points for a takedown, 1 point for an escape, 2 points for an reversal, and 2 to 3 back points, which means I've exposed your back long enough for the referee to give a 5 count.
Okay. Now, exposing your back, does that mean like a pin?
That's putting you in a pinning situation.
Okay.
Because I can expose your back, but not pin you. One of the moves you can do that in is a tilt.
Right.
It's where I'm going to use my momentum, tilt you towards your back, break the 45-degree angle, make your shoulders go 45 to the mat, and get my 3 count.
Now, how long does a person have to be down for a pin?
That's a tough one, because usually the ref is calling. So if one of my guys got somebody on their back, of course the guy on his back is switching his shoulders, and what the ref is looking for is basically that from the upper shoulder to the mid-back range to touch at the same time. So it just depends on what the ref sees.
Okay. Okay. Now, we wrestle in the WPL. Some of the teams in our division are...
We have Butler, Laurel, Elwood City, Seneca Valley, North Allegheny. Those are some of the teams in our area.
Yeah, and they're very good wrestling programs.
Yes, Fred Powell coaches Butler, and I've known Fred for years from Slippery Rock Wrestling.
Now, and I'm glad you said that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You were at Slippery Rock.
I am a Cleveland, Ohio native. Again, go Browns. I'm sorry, I got to get that dig in. Went to Slippery Rock, wrestled at Slippery Rock, met my wife at Slippery Rock. Left Slippery Rock, been working, being a grown-up, doing the grown-up thing, had a kids and everything. When I left Slippery Rock, I was done with wrestling. But what got me back involved in wrestling was my son. My son was hanging out with me in the wrestling room, and I was helping somebody in Sharpsville, and it just kind of grew from there, and that got me full-fledged back into wrestling. My son is Sully Allen. He wrestles for Edinburgh University.
That is great. That is great. It's good to see you back in the rink or on the circle mat square. You know, now, when does your season begin? And moreover, when do practices start? And if there's a youngster listening out there and they're of high school age, how do they get
Okay, I'm
there?
glad you asked that. First off, we have, this summer, we had over 65 kids in the wrestling room here at the RAC. A lot of them were elementary. I believe in a theater program. So if you're listening and you got a kid between kindergarten and 6th grade, bring him down here to the RAC tomorrow between 6 and 7:30 and have him sign up for elementary wrestling. Junior and senior high guys, season starts November 1st. That's the first day of practice here at the RAC from 3:30 to 5:30. So if you're interested, come on down. And that's from our 7th grade to our 12th grade. Season usually starts in November and it ends like everything else, March Madness time, because that's when states is. But if you're a true wrestler, you wrestle all year round. Here's the thing. I get better for next season by what I do in the summertime. The lifting, the training. The summertime wrestling is when I really hone my craft. You know, I perfect my double leg, I perfect my single leg, I perfect my crossface cradle. You know, that's when I really hone it in. So next season when I go in there, I'm an edge better.
There you go. Now, I'm going to say something because on our little logo there, it says anytime on your time. So when Coach is talking about for the elementary, that's the 21st of October.
Yes.
That they'll be here at the RAC so that you'll be able to know. And what time is that again?
6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30. That's a great time, a great opportunity. And I'd like to thank you, Bruce,
thank you for
stopping in and being able to talk about wrestling, talk about something different, and talk about getting involved. I'm a total believer that wrestling makes you better in other things you might do.
It does. Currently, last year in the Super Bowl, there were 16 Division I wrestlers playing in the Super Bowl. So if you're a football player and you look, especially you linebackers, you're looking for better ways to learn how to tackle people, safer ways, because a double leg takedown is a rugby football tackle.
There you go.
So if you're looking for better ways to maneuver people, learn leverage, come on out, give us a try.
Thanks again. And remember, you're watching NCTV45. We're available anytime on your time.
Hey, thanks guys for tuning in. Hope to see you some matches this year. Let's go Canes.
Bruce, have a great season.
Hey,
Best
thank you.
of luck to you.
Appreciate it.